To the channel. Today, I'm actually going to try and explain what I think the Football Manager 2025 roadmap was supposed to be before yesterday's delay. Basically, I've gone through it all, and I don't think it's as bad as everyone's thinking. But I'm going to try and explain it a little bit, and we're going to go through it step by step. And hopefully, at the end of this, you'll feel a bit better, and we'll get through it. Okay, so the very first thing I looked at when I was looking at this was back in 2021, all the way back COVID times. What fun time that would have been. So, Football Manager's just gone out on Epic Games on today as I'm recording the 5th of September. 4 years ago, it debuted on the Epic Store with Football Manager 20 being free to own on the 17th, which is nearly 4 years ago of 2020. Okay, so on the roadmap, I know there's been this announcement delay, but when you look at straight away the dates, they do correlate that. And I've always been of the opinion of this, that they would make a game free on Epic or Steam, and then we would start getting the announcements feeding through, and that's always been sort of the trend in the last couple of years. I then went to have a look at the announcement in July 21, which is them actually introducing women's football into Football Manager. And they are actually talking about in the blog here, I've taken a couple of screenshots, where they're saying about getting the women's database right, examining every single in-game attribute. Bear in mind, they've just announced they're going to take away weight, which I don't think anyone has ever looked at a footballer and gone, oh, he's 15 stone, I'm not going to sign him. I couldn't tell you the weight of any of my players, to be honest. I couldn't even guess what the weight of Lionel Messi is. I'm assuming he's lighter than Cristiano Ronaldo, but he's not going to be as heavy as what's that guy? I don't know. Was it the Sutton United goalkeeper a couple of years back? It's not going to be as heavy as him, is it? So in the grand scheme of things, attributes sort of cover the weight and the height and the jumping reach and the strength. So that's never been an issue. But they have been looking at this since 2021. They've also been doing motion capture. So all the stuff we've seen about the 3D models, they've already been building them for at least 4 years. Because it's saying that they were, during COVID times, they had the twins Rosie and Molly Kamita, and they were doing motion capture during the pandemic, and they were trying to get it out ready for Football Manager 2022. And this is when things start coming out about Project Dragonfly. When you look back, they start talking about changes to the studio. They start talking about, we are going to release FM22 slightly earlier than FM21, because FM21 was released late in November, similar to what 25 is going to be happening now. And, the whole process of this was saying on the FM22 Dev update, during the latter stages of FM20 and the whole of FM21, we worked with a separate design department rather than our previous model, where each engineer and artist was working on a feature and would be responsible for its design. So they were looking at how to work better during Project Dragonfly, you can see, and they were saying that we were going to change large chunks of the project and become more agile. All that side of things was the start of Project Dragonfly when you look back in hindsight. So that was FM22. So they were talking about women's football in July 21. They then updated us in FM22 on the dev update, saying that we're looking to bring things in and change things already. So then we went back then. So we had a look then again. FM23 was play for free. PC and Mac users will be able to try it out on Steam. That was June 26th. And Xbox can access FM20's free console on June 26th for free, and then it was available 50% off until mid-July. That was dated the 23rd of June 2023. On the 30th of June, we had the FM24 Dev update about Project Dragonfly, and that was the very first stages of FM25. So again, they're following a very similar pattern of what they were roadmapping out to. So the Epic Games being free, announcements, I don't think this is actually anything to be too concerned about an extra couple of weeks delay, but let's get further into it. So you can see here, look, in January 2020, they started a small group in the team, and they were assigned to start discussing the future. This became Dragonfly. The original plan was to deep dive into the potential and propel the learners forward with the aim of making a new look FM22, which is what I was already covering here in FM21. So, the roadmap does seem to align here, and then they decided to try and do it for FM23, then realized it wasn't going to be, and, everyone knows this development update, so I'm just going to quickly skip through. Basically, that roadmap was in place. Women's football, which is going to come in FM25, has been developed for about 5, 6, 7 years, by the look of it, and it's coming in as well as the Unity engine. So that's a real quick overview here. And then if we look at the key dates here, and these are the key dates. They announced FM Mobile was coming on the 12th of September. They confirmed the release date last year on the 12th of September. And they had the feature rollout start on the 15th of September. Okay, now back in the blog of on the 22nd of July 21, it did point out that all the extra cost that was associated with bringing women's football into the game was actually a multi-year project, and it was unsustainable for them not to incur extra charges or extra costs. So they were starting to look at potential here we go. Look, I mentioned earlier in the blog that the cost of this project will be substantial. To help offset some of these costs, we have already started conversations with some potential commercial partners to share our vision, who will be able to offer financial help in return for a wide integration of their brand into FM. We could be talking here. I know Apple Arcade had some of it, but the Netflix deal for Football Manager Mobile coming into FM24 was probably a big part of that. But so then you fast forward to the 12th of September 23, and you can see they were trying to save FM Mobile, saying that the sales have slowly declined. They were bringing Netflix in, and obviously this was working, and this helped save FM Mobile. Development update with the roadmap, that was the 15th of September. Roughly a year to the day. So yeah, when they were announcing the pre-purchase and early access, it was saying between the 12th of September and the 6th of November, people could get a discount. But that was then saying they were going to announce it on September 12th, and it would come out early November, which, based on what they were saying in their dev post yesterday, was suggesting that actually that was going to follow something similar, because mid-September, early November. When you have a look at what the dev post was saying, on the 17th of June, then they went into Tokyo Game Show on the 21st of September, the following week. If we quickly fast forward then, obviously we're now going into the dev updates of 24. Like I said, this is just an overview of what I've found. On the 27th of June, as you can see, we had the first update, which was telling us everything that they were going to be removing, and the rollout and FIFA E World Cup. In Miles's post, one of the key things he did point out was that he is cancelling the Unite conference in Barcelona, and he is also not going to go to the Tokyo Game Show. Now, we know the Tokyo Game Show last year was the 21st of September. The 21st of September is obviously their roadmap last year. This year, I can show you now, the Unite conference in Barcelona, because I looked it up, is actually on the 19th of September. So actually, it's 2 weeks away. The Tokyo Game Show is 3 weeks away. So the reason probably why they've cancelled the Tokyo Game Show, and this is me guessing, is not so much because there's a lot of things happening. It's probably when they're going to announce a feature, around when they're hoping to announce the features. I'm not saying it's definite, but that's maybe what they're working on now. When we look at what they were going to talk about in the Unite conference, it was producing and optimizing complex user interface at scale in an inefficient and time-consuming process. That's what's often the problem. There are ways to make this process smoother. In this session, you'll learn how Sports Interactive's dev team made the switch to Unity with insights into their expertise using the UI toolkit, as well as other toolkits available for low or no code users. That was going to be like an hour talk. That was on a stage. They had software developers and product designers from Unity and a technical director from Sports Interactive being involved. Now, that would suggest that if they were announcing the features in the coming week, then they would have been quite happy to have provided the feature, talk about the features in that conference. But because they can't, they've obviously cancelled it and gone, well, actually, we're not going to talk about features. We're going to have to. So it'll be interesting, actually, in the Unite conference. So although there's going to be a presence, how much they actually reveal in that conference. because you've got to register. You can't just get access to it. But it'll be interesting to see how much they actually do talk about it, and if anything actually leaks out or anything comes out from it. So that's the Unite conference. The Tokyo Game Show was obviously where they launched the Japanese league announcement last year, and that's obviously now possibly that they like to do it roughly on a Wednesday or a Thursday, the 26th of September. They want to announce it at the end of September. Maybe the 26th of September is when they're planning on announcing it. I'm guessing that's the case. If you like this video, hopefully you've found it quite useful, or you're just laughing at how poor the editing quality was. I don't mind. Why not drop us a like and subscribe? Until next time, why not check out a couple of these other videos we've got for Football Manager Console? Take care.